Well, I'm super excited to get started with you guys on our Watercolor Wonders series of classes, and I'm so glad you could join. A very fundamental, that means basic, lesson about the elements of design, and it is going to include flowers. Hi, there's my hands. And these flowers have all of our elements of design, and for some of you are saying, well, what are the elements of design? I don't even know what that is. And some of you are saying, oh, she's going to go over the elements of design. I know those. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take each element of design one at a time. And I just want to tell you what the 7 elements of design are. Got them right under here. They are line, shape, form, color, value, texture, space. Those are the building blocks of art, and I start every single session with these because they're so important. It's like when you go to play soccer and they teach you how to kick the ball, or you go to play piano and they teach you the scales. We need to know the basics. Okay, so what do you need for today? Some of you that didn't get your art supplies in the mail, no worries at all. You need some markers, possibly a permanent marker and a pencil. Even if you got your stuff in the mail, you might still want to use these because these ones are a little bit easier. If you want the added challenge, some of you have the paints, and that's cool too. It all works, you guys. Don't get all sad and worry about what you don't have. We have so much. So I've got my watercolor set here. And if you're doing the watercolor set, you still need the pencil. So the pencil goes on both sides. And for those of you who really need it, you can have the eraser. You know how I feel about erasers. For those of you who don't know how I feel about erasers, not a fan because we spend too much time erasing. So just embrace, be flexible. Woo, be flexible. That's the big thing. Then you're also going to need old wash rag, paper towel, something like that. You are going to need a container of water. I get the big one because I'm lazy and I don't want to go clean my water all the time. and your desk protector. I've got mine. I've got my elements of design written on here, and we're going to talk about them right now. So get yourself together, get comfortable, and we're going to be ready to go. Silly Miss Heidi, I forgot to mention that you need paper. Okay, so you could do your heavy watercolor paper if you want, or your thinner drawing paper. I'm going to do the thinner drawing paper, and we're going to start off together with this first element. Our first element right here is, right there, line. Okay, so can you draw me some lines that are just coming up? So we're going to do one here. Okay, and then as we go with our line, we're going to put a circle like a lollipop. It's going to be one. I'm going to do another one. One here, lollipop. One here, lollipop. One here, lollipop. One here, lollipop. And then here comes your trick. Okay. Your last one, I want you to go underneath up here. Okay. Now these lines closed up and they became our next element, which is shape. Okay. Now we went behind, so we use this element way down here, space. So we've already used line and shape and space. What? We're really going. Now shape is our next thing that we're going to do. We're going to put the ends of our flowers on. And I want you to come up with some organic shapes, which are all kind of crazy like this. Let me draw it out crazy. This is organic. And then geometric shapes are like this. Hard, straight lines. Okay? I don't know if you can see that. I'm drawing kind of dark with my pencil. You can draw light if it makes you, nervous that you can't erase something if you want to erase. Okay. We're going to have some overlapping, so that eraser might come in handy if you like to erase. So what we're going to do is on this first flower, I want you to come out and you're just going to kind of make some flower petals. This is going to be my droopy one. Droopy flower. And you see how I'm going over? And then I'm just going to stop right there. Okay, now see this line right here? You can take your eraser, pencil eraser, your big eraser, whatever, and take those off because those are going behind. Okay, so that's the element of space. Okay, this flower here, we're going to do a whole bunch of lines on. And the reason we're going to do a whole bunch of lines on this one is because we're going to do the element of line, but now I want to add texture. So kind of like one of those crazy dandelions that you can kind of blow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come out and I'm just going to go like this. Okay, like that. Now this guy back here, I want to make some big petals that have organic lines, organic shapes, and I'm going to go kind of big like this. You can make it up however you want. I'm the art teacher who just makes suggestions. Oh, I'm so glad to be drawing with you guys. Now look, this one goes behind, so I'm going to pick up my pencil, that's space, and come back over here. That's where we're turning on the old brain. What's going back behind there? Okay, so this one went behind, so I had to pick up my pencil. So I have my shapes, a space, we have some texture, color and value and form. We're going to talk about form in just a minute. Okay, so now this next flower, let's do this. Let's skip this guy for a minute because this one's going to be in the back. I can already tell. Let's do a geometric flower. And now geometric means hard, straight lines. So watch what I'm going to do. Geometric shapes are kind of like this. They're rectangles, or they're squares, or sometimes right now they're triangles. So I'm going to go with some geometric shapes. Geometric. All the way around. Now when I get to another flower like I did down here, you have to stop. You can't go over. Well, you could go over, but then you're going to have to erase some stuff, which is cool too. So I have a little eraser spot here. I got to do that. I have one here. Now you guys know if at any time I'm going too fast for you, you just sit back, you eat a granola bar or a cookie, you watch the show, you chillax a little bit, watch the video later. You can catch up with me on my office hours. Office hours, I sound so professor-like. And then you can just discuss it with me later, okay? I don't ever, ever, ever want you to get stressed out about art. Please do not get stressed out about art. All right, so now I have this flower and this flower left. This flower is going to be my most challenging one because it is behind. So look, I'm going to go big. It goes around like this. You can go on top, but then you're going to have to erase that flower. So I'm just going to go like this. Off the page. Now that's a thinker. That's a thinker for not only the artist, but for the viewer. The viewer has to fill in, hey, what's going on behind there? Look at this one hardly gets anything. I'm just going to take off this little line right here. And this goes behind. So now you're doing something called overlapping. Some of you get that right away, and some of you are like, what is she talking about? Don't worry about it. If you're like worried about, oh, I don't know if I'm getting it. You're getting it. You're fine. Wherever you are right now is where you're supposed to be. Okay? So don't worry about it. Okay, so this last one down here, I'm going to do some big petals, kind of wonky, organic. I do more organic flowers. You can look around your yard and see what you got there, organic or what. So now this one, I'm going to come way out here like that. And now I got to take off, let's see, I got to take off this line. Okay, so you got to think about it. It's a real thinker. I got to tell you, even I'm going, whoa, 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 I didn't have enough coffee this morning. I don't know how this is working. All right, so I'm starting to get myself confused. So I got to take off some lines. Okay. All right. Right in here, I feel like I'm having a little bit of an issue, so I think I'm going to come down in here like this, and then I'll take off this line that's in here. You have to look at yours. Yours is different than mine. No two artists are ever going to do anything the same. I can't even do anything the same. I've got another one that I'm going to do because I'm going to do 2 pictures at the same time, and they don't look the same. And I did both of them. All right, so I am going to take that off. Now what we need to do is we need to thicken up our stems. So let's come down and make a double line. And if your flowers are leaning every which way and going off the page, oh, see, I've got a little problem right here. I got to take that off. Then you're more sophisticated. That's good. You're very Van Gogh. That's a good thing. Let's see, I got to put one here. I got to take this guy off here. So you got to look around, see what you got. Okay. Then what I want to do, I'll make this double too. And I'm going to start putting some leaves on. So here's a leaf for this one. I like this one to have some big leaves here. I'm going to go out like this. Those are some big leaves. I just make them up. Organic shapes. You can make them pokey leaves, circle leaves, oval leaves, long leaves, short leaves. There's all different kinds of leaves. I'm just putting them on wherever they fit. And sometimes I just crunch them in all behind. You're going to see it doesn't matter. And I'm going to put one up here and one going off over here. Okay. Now I've got my space filled up. Let's see, did I use line? Yes. Shapes? Yes. Form? Form is 3D. We're going to work on that in a minute. Color? Nope. Value? Nope. Texture? Yeah, we got a little bit going on there. We got to add more. Space? Definitely. We filled up the space. Okay, so we're going to get ready for painting. That's the next thing. Hi guys, we're back, and I have sprouted 2 more hands. Through the magic of television, I have Miss Jackie here to help me because we're going to do 2 projects at the same time because some of you are using the watercolor paint and some of you are using the markers. It doesn't really matter what you use for this first one, and we're experimenting with our elements of design, so we're going to be going into color and value now. All right, so here's Miss Jackie's. Okay, and here's mine. Now, if you are going to be doing the watercolor, then you're going to follow along with Miss Jackie. Woo! And if you're doing marker, you're going to follow along with me. Okay. Now, watercolor people, first thing you want to do is grab that paintbrush and hold it down low. Hold it right, Miss Jackie. And then what I want you to do is I want you to dip your paintbrush into the water and put it on the yellow. Put some water on the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple, that's purple, and the orange, and the red. Hey, for you, you got that all done. Marker people, grab your yellow, okay? Watercolor people, what you're going to be doing is you're going to do everything that I do, but in paint. So, marker people, take off your cap, put it on the back, and the first thing we're doing is we're starting with the color wheel. We're starting with yellow. Yellow is our lightest value. Value is the lightness and darkness of color, people. And so we're starting with our lightest value first, which is yellow. Okay. And this first flower, since we're going to make a color wheel, is going to be all yellow. So start coloring or painting this first flower all in yellow. And I use the side of my marker to get it on there pretty good. Really color it as thick as you can. You don't have to color it neatly. I know that sounds crazy for an art teacher to say. You don't have to color it neatly. You just got to get a lot of color on there. Okay.
Oops, that painted one of my leaves.
That's okay. She was reading my mind. We're going to paint, in color, all of our leaves and stems yellow too. So yellow is our lightest color, and we're going to do that first. It's like a race between Jackie and I. Who can color? We're not really racing. So we're going to go all the way down and do all of our stems and leaves yellow too. This is what we call an underpainting or coloring. It makes everything look better because when our colors mix together, which is what our plan is, it's going to make it all look so good. So we're going to do all of our leaves and all of our stems yellow. If your marker starts drying out, turn it over on the other side. Sometimes you can even dip it in a little bit of water. Sometimes that works, but you know what, guys? You know what I found out about that? Sometimes it'll rip your paper, so be careful. Okay, Miss Jackie and I are sitting super close together, so kind of hard for me to color on this one side. All right, ooh, she's fast. Oh, we ended about the same time. Oh, pretty good. All right, put your cap on your marker, wash out your brush. Get your orange marker. Okay, now this one is where we're going to start doing some value. Okay, and we're going to put some value on our first flower here. So we're going to go orange around the middle here. And then we're going to put some orange at the tops of our petals. Yellow and orange are two colors that get along because they're next to each other on the color wheel. This next flower up above here, our textured dandelion, is also going to be orange. It's the base coat of orange, and you're going to color out onto, look, it's like a crazy hairdo. Goes all the way out, kind of crazy. In orange. Okay. Voila. And now see how the colors are starting to run? That's going to happen over here too later, but it's beautiful. Just let it run. Okay. Get your red, wash your brush. Now we're going to do the value again. This orange flower here is going to have some red around the middle. You can put some little red lines around the petals too if you want. And then this whole flower is going to be red. And I gotta tell you, sometimes the sound of the marker, itchy, scratchy like this, kind of crazy. I don't know if I like that. But do what you gotta do, people. So we're gonna go all along here. And look at, I am leaving some areas because I know this one's gonna be shaded. And I think you guys know what color we're gonna go next. Let's see if Miss Jackie knows. Miss Jackie, what color are we going to do next? Ah, she doesn't know.
Purple?
Oh, you're right. Fantastic. All right, get it on there really good. All right, cap on the marker, wash out the brush. Whoops, didn't put my colors in order. Get your purple. You know the drill. Purple is going to be our value color, so I'm going to go around.
Ooh, see how dark that was? You guys, I need more water.
Ooh, I love it. I'm going to go around like this, around like that, all here, all there. Boop, 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 putting it on like that. And now this one is going to be a purple flower, but I'm going to save some spots for blue because blue is going to be our next color. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to make my middle purple, go around. Now that's where that space comes in. You got to paint around if you can. And I'm going to go purple in the middle of this guy. Purple, 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 putting a lot of purple. And then I'm going to do purple in the middle here of my petals. Oh, look, I left some of the ends of these off too, so I'm going to put some purple on the ends of those. I got to go around and do all my purple on the ends. And then these guys are going to be purple. So I go around. so peaceful. Except for my noisy little marker.
I'm putting purple on the ends of here too.
Yep. Ooh, I got a little spot there that's wet. I wonder how that got wet. Okay. I'm going farther, adding more purple. And I'm going to save some blue areas. Okay.
Oh. That's how you
Cap
did more
on the
purple
marker.
than me.
Yeah. Get your blue. Okay. And the blue is going to go on the tips of my flower. And I'm going to go around too. I'm going to go around. Now, purple, blue, and red, they all get along. So when they mix together, that's okay. It's okay. It's going to be fine. It's all good. It's all good. All right, and I'm going to go around the middle of my flower with some purple and blue going down in here. Okay. Now, you know this next flower is what color, Miss Jackie?
Blue.
Yeah. I'm getting worried there for a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with the middle. Start with the middle. And then I'm going to make each one of these blue coming out like this. You could do it either way. Remember, we're just making suggestions. If you want to change it up and do it your own way, then change it up, do it your own way. You're going to see what colors mix together good and you like, and then you're going to look at it and you're going to say, ugh, I don't like that at all. All right, cap on the marker. Switch over to your green. You got to get your green, take the cap off. Wash your brush.
I washed
All right.
it.
Oh, she washed it. Okay, I'm going to do green in the middle and green on the tips. Okay, now this next flower, the last flower, is green. And we're going to save some spots for the yellow because we've come all the way around. We've gone yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, green, back to yellow. So we're going to save some spots, excuse me, for some yellow. So I'm going to go around and around and around and around and around. And then I'm going to go around my petals with the green. Okay. All the way around. Okay, and while we've got the green out, let's go ahead and put the green on our stems and our leaves. And the good news is you don't have to color in the whole thing. Just come down the sides. And I would like you to make it a little darker green wherever you think there might be a shadow. So color in a little bit more there, like underneath your flower, maybe at the bottom of your leaves, anywhere where it's kind of bunched up, like right here, it's a little more bunchy at the where the leaves meet the stem. Okay, I'm gonna go around here. Now, the more color you add, the better it's going to blend. Okay, going to go all the way around. Go here, here. I got a lot of green on here. All right. Then I'm going to go back to the yellow. Now, usually I don't do yellow with the green, but this time I'm going to have to be a little careful. And I'm going to add some yellow in here. Now green is a darker value than yellow. So it's going to be a little bit stronger and it's going to take over a little bit more. Usually we do the yellow first, but because we were going in color wheel order, we didn't. One last little thing to do, it's kind of fun, is I'm going to take some blue and I'm just going to make some shadows on my leaves. Wherever you think it should be darker. It's kind of nice having 4 arms. I could get a lot more work done that way. Okay, now those of you who are doing markers with me, I'm going to show you how to paint this. We're going to paint that with water. And those of you who are doing watercolor, while we're painting with water, you're going to add more color. Because Jackie's going to turn us off for just a second here. Okay, so remember this picture from before? We want our colors to run and look beautiful. These black lines, you can't do those right now, people. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Seriously, do not try to rush those. It'll rip your paper.
And we're going to continue shading if you're working in watercolor. We still have to go in and get some blue on some of our stems. So take your time with that. Remember they're on some of the darker areas, so like right underneath your flower, to the side, and work on your blending. So we're not just putting on lines, we're trying to get our colors to blend.
I got good news for you folks with the markers. You don't have to work on the blending that much, because if you put enough water, like I am, I'm just tapping it on there. I'm not rubbing it. Do not rub on this, because this is just regular old drawing paper. I guess if you have the watercolor paper, you can be pretty rough with it. But if you've got this regular drawing paper, you've got to be gentle. Just gently put the water on there, and it blends on its own. It just does it. It'll do it later. So like right now, I'm not working that hard on it. I'm just getting my whole paper wet in sections. So wet each flower really good, and we're going to see what happens here.
Now you guys, what I'm doing is I'm going back in and seeing some areas that got a little bit lighter because our watercolor dried, and seeing if I can put another coat, or if I missed a spot, if you want it a little bit darker in some area. Okay. Go on and adjust before it dries. Like this flower, you can barely see my yellow, so I'm going to go back on top, make my yellow nice and brighter. Now you can see that much better.
Yep, and I'm just putting water on all mine, because with marker, I just have fallen in love with marker. It just does it for you. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to include it in the watercolor class, is because it's like the coolest thing ever, because everybody, well, not everybody, but most people have markers. And now I'm going to start doing these stems, and I'm just going to bring the water down on the stems. Now, the other day I painted a picture, and I was like, oh man, these markers aren't blending at all. Went to lunch, came back, and the colors were so amazing when I came back. I was like, oh my goodness, they just continue to blend all day, and they get really soft and feathery looking. The texture is amazing. I'm just going around. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull. That's one of our watercolor techniques we're going to talk about. We're going to pull our color into our sky. And you're like, but I was so careful to paint just on my flowers. We want to make our sky have some color. So what you're going to do is you're going to take just water and paint your sky with just water, and let those colors run into each other. But why, Miss Heidi? Because I want you to see when they mix together. This is a practice page, although it's going to be so beautiful you're going to want to put it up on your wall. But I want you to see what colors mix with what colors. And I thought about doing just a plain old circle color wheel, and I thought, that's fine, but not as fun as flowers. So what I want you to do is I want you to take and paint your background, which is clear water, and let the colors run, but you got to be gentle if you're getting rips. That's your cue. Uh-oh, I'm being too rough. So that happens to all of us. Over here, Jackie, I got some feathery colors. Ooh. And then this is going to sit on the table or out in the patio for some time to dry out. And then tomorrow, not today, not anytime today, because you're going to say, oh, well, it's dry. No, give it a whole day, and I'm going to show you how we're going to outline it. Okay? All right. All the way down. Did you get yours all wet?
I got it all wet.
I see a dry spot here in the corner.
Oops, I'm getting in trouble.
Oopsie daisy. Whoa, look at those colors.
Careful to still be really gentle with your brush, even when you're doing the background, because I know it's a bigger area and sometimes we start to scrub.
Yeah.
So be gentle.
You know that. No scrubbing. So you're just going to let it sit and let those colors marinate together and go together. Okay, guys. So now I've let my painting dry, and it is beautiful just like that. I love the way the colors ran together. I've got my color wheel: yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, green, back to yellow. And oh my goodness, my neighbors have a really loud car. Then what we're going to do now is we're going to use a marker. It could be a Sharpie marker, or it could be one of these markers. If it's a washable marker, then just be careful because it can smear, but mine's completely dry. And what I'd like you to do, and this is kind of an extra thing, I go around and I outline. And I find outlining and just drawing to be very relaxing. So when you're getting all stressed out, just go into your room or into the corner of the living room or under the dining room table and just start drawing. Have your own little secret drawing party. Just relax. So fun. Just going around. And we're going to go all around here. I try to get it close to being on the lines, but it's pretty hard. So it's good for your hand-eye coordination and your fine motor skills. Go all the way around. Just outlining everything. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, so I have everything outlined. Oops, no I don't. I got a spot right here I missed. There we go. All right, so I have everything outlined, and now what I want to do is I want to add some value and some texture. Okay, so the value is going to come by making some areas darker. The texture is going to also add some value because I am going to add more ink designs to this. So, for example, say this guy here. I'm going to do something called stippling. Oh, I love stippling. And it's going to be little dots. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the little dots? And the little dots are going to go all around the center circle. More dots toward the edge and less dots to the middle. That is going to give us a shadow and texture, and it's not only going to look like a shadow, but it's going to look like little seeds. Now in the middle, I'm going to put less, just a few. Okay, so now already that's starting to look a little rounded, but I'm going to do something to my petals on this one to make it have a little bit of shading. So I'm just going to do some lines. Back to that element of line, you guys. Line. Okay. Really have to wait for this to dry, so if you're doing this on wet paper, not a good idea. Okay, so I went all the way around, and that's already kind of making it go in. Dark areas go in, light areas come forward. If you want to, you can even put more shading in between, but I'm just going to start adding details all over with lines and circles. Let me show you my other one so you can get an idea and you don't have to watch the whole thing because you're like, I already know how to do this. All right, so I did swirls and pokies and circles and lines, and I could keep going on this thing forever. I just love the way the black lines make it pop. And so just kind of look and see, make it up in your head. You know, there's no right or wrong answer to how you want to do it, but just add your lines for definition and then for shading. Okay, so I might continue on this because it's pretty fun. Okay, you guys, so as you can see, I just kind of finished up with adding texture, making some areas darker, not by coloring them in, but by just adding a lot of lines. And you can do cross hatching, you can do dots, you can do this forever, just to kind of go around and fill things in. I did put some shadows with lines. I can add more stuff on here too. I see lots of spots. I can add more stuff. But the more you add, the more interest you're going to get, but you need to know when to stop. Because sometimes you'll go too far and the whole thing will turn black. So you need to ask somebody, you know, say, hey, do you think I should add more here? Because sometimes you look at something for a long time and you don't know. So like right now, I'm adding more here. I need to ask somebody, should I stop? You guys are probably all screaming, yes, stop, stop. So anyway, it's just a fun project and way to add your elements of design: line, shape, form, color, value, texture, space. Okay, guys.